Hello, and welcome to this week's VR Vertigo. Behind me on the screens, you'll see the launch trailer for Marathon. Marathon. How you broke my heart. But not as much as Anthem. Now, I don't know why, but I never played Anthem. Most likely because the various pundits and commentators at the time were telling us about all the problems. And I appreciate that. I really took that to heart and thought, why do I want to spend time? I'm busy enough. I've got no time to just get into it and just be disappointed. But I rather wish that I had, because it looked like it was great gameplay. And Marathon, well, we all know how that's gone and is going. It's trying to be saved. It's on life support currently, and I think that's a good idea. I've made my position very clear on Marathon. I think it should be saved. There are lots of people who are, how can I put it, disaster commentators, disaster pundits, whose audiences clamour for the next big disaster. It's addictive viewing. I don't blame these people for commentating on these subjects in the way that they do. It garners views. I mean, there's a story about the rumoured Bully 2 game and how great that would have been, and how people are lamenting the fact that we never got it. However, we know from all the various stories we've had historically that games and their original concepts are generally superb. What we get as gamers, however, are these strange shrunken head type versions of the original concept, which all too often, unfortunately, never live up to the hype. So, Marathon and Anthem in VR. Why, you may ask yourself? Well, hybrid gaming, hybrid game development. We are well past the time now that developers started developing their games as hybrid titles, both flat screen and VR, being developed at the same time. Or, once the game is developed for flat, then go through a mandatory process of being developed for VR. The reason I'm saying this is because, well, frankly, Anthem, my unrequited love. I mean, look at that suit. Look at it. I mean, being in VR, having a heads-up display, and that gameplay in VR. What's not to like? It would have been superb. And guess what? It still could be. You see, I don't think it's too late to save Anthem. I think Anthem could come back as a VR title and go great guns. It could go all out. Hell for leather. Pell-mell as a brand new VR title and find a success that it never achieved when it was a flat screen game. And one can only imagine what success it would have had it been developed as a hybrid title. And I know back then VR wasn't quite the proposition that it is now, but hey, we need to be thinking forward here. We need to be lining our egg basket so that when we put all our eggs in it, they're safe. Which brings me to Marathon. This is an ideal opportunity for the developers at Bungie to, once they've sorted the Marathon game out, do a mandatory VR process at the end. Marathon is at the point that I just spoke about with Anthem. Had it had a mandatory VR development process at the end of flat screen development. I keep going on about VR being the future of gaming because I believe that it is. I firmly believe that it is. Release the game on flat screen. Release it when you intend to. But as part of the release process, include on the banners coming to PSVR 2. I mean, that's going to build the kind of hype that, frankly, money can't buy. People have already bought the headsets. Anthem coming to Steam VR, coming to PSVR 2. There's no downside. Apart from the relatively minor cost of developing it for VR, it can happen. Far too many games are languishing in a kind of gaming purgatory, half being played, kind of being played, with figures dwindling, players moving away. Don't developers understand that with VR they've got a captured audience? Literally just begging for these titles. I may do another video on The Division. That game is a visual masterpiece. To go on a mission through the wreckage of Washington, the lighting, the fog effects, the enemy, which is really quite uncompromising, I can assure you. What's taking them so long? I watched last night PSVR Without Parole, and I was watching Brian Paul and Wes from Flat to VR Studios having a chat. And they're all very philosophical about it, really, all very kind of laid back. Not so much Brian, but Wes. Wes is up to his knees in the entire thing, and so consequently has that detachment that somebody working in the industry carries with them. And I think that's appropriate. There's no doubt of his love for PSVR 2 and VR generally. He, like me, has gone a bit meh on flat screen gaming. I only play 2 old titles now, currently on flat screen, and that's because I don't have a lot of time. And coupled with the fact that, yes, I do still have my Vertigo hanging around, so I can't don my VR headset yet. But rest assured, I will, as soon as the condition allows. Game developers know about VR. There is no doubt. It's starting to breathe, maybe open an eye and look around and go, oh, this is all right, isn't it? And it's starting to consider whether or not it could be the new hotness. And I think it already is. Which game would you rather play in VR? Do let me know what you think in the comments below. Do like, subscribe, share, and comment. It really does help the channel and would help me out immensely in remaining relevant to the algorithm. Until next time, this is me signing off. Bye-bye.